All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people, just like you, just like me. All right, so Stephen Stills joins a growing list of aging rock stars who are selling off their catalog. He's decided to sell his catalog to Irving Azoff and his iconic artist group, whose roster includes David Crosby, Linda Ronstadt, and the Beach Boys. It's not like Azoff. Man, Azoff is probably the most brilliant businessman in the history of rock music. I mean, he's got his hands in pretty much every aspect of the music industry. The 77-year-old singer, songwriter, and guitarist recorded assets. That's what they call this now. They're not just songs, they're assets. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Include his solo work as well as his music that he created with Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, Manassas, a band that pretty much everybody forgot about, and the Stills Young Band, and other projects. Stills has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, with Buffalo Springfield and with CSN. The agreement also includes an interest in Stevens' trademarks and use of his name and likeness. In the wake of the acquisition, plans are in the works to release an archival live solo album that Stills recorded in 1971 in Berkeley in support of his second solo album, Stephen Stills 2, and an expanded 50th anniversary reissue of his Manassas 1972 self-titled debut album. This is what Stephen Stills says: "Music is one of the greatest driving forces in my life, a means to communicate a universal language, and it's comforting to know my life's work is in the best hands and Irving and his iconic team." Now, these are all guys from the 60s, right? And they were all, don't trust anyone over 30. And now they're all trusting in the corporation. It's kind of ironic and interesting. By the way, I don't blame him for doing this, because even classic rock is giving up on bands like Crosby, Stills, Nash, and or Young, right? They're kind of giving solo material by Stephen Stills. Imagine hearing something by Manassas on the radio today. It's not going to happen. I mean, you've got to have some kind of a freak of nature classic rock station, which actually plays classic rock and isn't playing like the Foo Fighters, But, I get it, because time is marching on. A lot of the music that is definitely classic rock is being phased out, whereas the stuff that came way later is being put in there in its place. And what is the rationale behind this? I don't know. The demographics don't support what they're doing, but we shall see. Over time, maybe all of the music that was once considered classic rock will just be deemed too old to be on the radio. So Stills is doing this because, hey, he's going to get a big payout. They don't say, by the way, how much Stephen Stills is getting. A lot of times they'll put that as the headline, like, Stephen Stills gets $10 million for his catalog, which, I don't know what his catalog is worth, but I'm assuming it's a lot of money, but nobody here is really saying. But it's interesting. Again, Irving Azoff, he's trusting in Irving. Azoff says, "I have had the pleasure of knowing Stephen for more than 50 years, and he is certainly one of rock's most enduring treasures. I'm pleased that he will be working with us to preserve, expand, and share his musical legacy for his next generation of fans." So, he could rely on somebody over on TikTok to do a video, right, and have some Stephen Stills music going. I don't know if the music of Stephen Stills relates to this generation at all. It's too organic. Stephen is such a creative guitar player, different, just unique. I like most of his work, even though sometimes I'm not thrilled with the politics there, but musically speaking, I think Steven is a genius, and his work should be kept alive somehow. And maybe this corporate way will continue to keep this music going over the generations to come. I don't know how they're planning on, spreading this music out there again, but we shall see. I mean, reissuing albums, that's great. There's only going to be a really small market for that, for the people that grew up listening to this. If they have disposable income and they want to plunk down, $50 for a box set or for some kind of a reissue with extra songs, if they're truly interested in that, they might do it. But I don't know. I think when you've got this iconic team that Azoff has here, you would think that they would develop new creative strategies to find new avenues, new places where this music hasn't been heard, whether that's advertising, which is always a possibility. See, like I'm thinking of Neil Young, This Note's for You. I don't know if you remember that song, but he's basically making fun of all of these musicians that put their songs in commercials. Ain't singing for Budweiser, ain't singing for Coke, right? And now you could probably hear a Stephen Stills song in a Coke commercial or a Bud commercial. I think would probably be more appropriate for the demographics. But what's stopping any of this music from becoming staples of big pharma? They've got a cool new medication out there that you have to take, and it only has 72 side effects. And here comes Stephen Stills to sing about it. I mean, it could be happening. It could be on a television near you, and that would expose the song to millions of people. And then there might be a few people that say, hey, I like that song. Some younger people who don't know who Stephen Stills is, and will say, hey, I think I want to download that song, and Azoff's got it now. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. And this is, the new normal when it comes to how geezer rock stars are going to make money into the future. And obviously after they're gone, their estates will continue to benefit from this. But the way this is structured, this is a big one-time payout. That's what I think this is. And I don't think there's, any room here for, 100 years from now, unless the contract is written that, yeah, we give this up after a certain period of time and it goes back to whoever. But for the foreseeable future, the only money that Stephen Stills will be getting is from this one-time lump sum payout, which, again, probably makes sense based on what's currently happening in the world of music. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Irving Azoff has got his hands in pretty much everything. And, this is right up Irving's alley, so to speak, being the current manager for the Eagles, who certainly were inspired by Stephen Stills and bands like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. All right, that's the video done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, right? Subscribers, we need you. Patrons, Patreon for just $1 a month, $2 a month. I've got a lot of patrons that do heavy lifting, like they're doing $10 a month, and I'm not asking for 10. If you can do 1 or 2, that's cool. But the people who like me, I guess, decide that they're going to give a lot, and I appreciate that. But it's kind of like a church, where the few members of the congregation, raise all the money for the church, and then, everybody else just sits there and puts a quarter into the offering plate. So in any event, if you want to participate, $1 a month, that's all I'm asking. Again, I always say, how many percent of the subscribers, if like 10%, 5% gave $1 a month, then hey, I could be shooting my mouth off in even more impressive, in crazier ways than I do, because then I could pretty much go anywhere and do this every single day, as far as getting out certain things that maybe I cannot say currently. So it's always a thought. It's a pipe dream, and I appreciate those of you who continue to support the channel. In the meantime, thanks again for watching, and I will see you soon.